that was an incident just how we were sitting in the crew room here in a cup of coffee in the city yesterday, 5 or 6 sixers in fact, and I'd been doing the hair by taking photographs earlier on that yesterday in a quarter of an hour or 4 and just go over here to take a cup of coffee. And we luckily saw the 4 young lads doing the beer or doing the breakwater, and we were just referring to the young lads that get a rick punch if they get hair, and his mother's got to give him a punch and get soaked to the skin because they were just soaked. But little realising at the time it was either was going to finish up in the hair bar, and it wasn't until we were watching them and well, it was in the back of your mind. We saw 2 of them actually running up the breakwater here, down the back here, and the other lad run down the spar here and threw a lifebelt into the water. We began to realise there was something wrong, there was something there right here. We didn't launch that particular minute, we kind of held back to see if it was going on to a degree. We wondered if we would nip around and see what was going on. But just when the crew come back in, it'd been over at their breakwater, the soup breakwater, and he commented that there was a lad in the water, a young lad who'd been washed off a pier. So it was a case of a self-lunch as such. We decided, the one sec was there, with 6 of the crew, and the head luncher was there, Charlie. So with the crew all ate lunch, operational side and shore side and that. So it was decided just to lunch about right away. And, I believe if we'd had the page to go through the system, as somebody reported to the Coast Guard put off the pagers, coming down the road on a Saturday afternoon with the traffic lights and the tune there, it could have been a different story. But we were on hand that time, which is a blessing. I don't believe it was luck, I believe it was providence, and I believe it wasn't anyone's time, and I believe that there's a higher hand on these things I said earlier on, and I believe that it just wasn't anyone's time. We were there to do the job, and it was a very satisfying thing to see everyone come in a week after that and thank us for what we did. It was pathetic at the time to go down there and see him lying in the water and to come out to all intents and purposes. His young life was ended as such. There was no life in him. There was no breathing, there was no pulse, there was nothing, and all intents and purposes the young lad was dead. But the mechanic and the second mechanic and the crew started to work with him, and after a day and 12 minutes they actually got a response, which was a great thing. And after spending a week, maybe was it 4 or 5 days or a week in intensive care in Aberdeen, it was great to see him walking in his door, just to say thank you. And really that's what the jobs are about. It's great just to see, like we say, well, we have saved a life. We saved that young lad's life, a young man lad, a 12-year-old, a week before his 13th birthday. He had a lifetime of hero, and yet it could have been turned out so different. So that was one bonus, if you like, real boost to the crew's morale the following week when that young lad turned up. To know that we'd done a job and we'd done it well. And we did it the way it should have been done, and I think turned out good, turned out very good. We were called out one night, as it turned out, the phone rang, and we were told it was a Chinese junk. We couldn't really believe that. I couldn't comprehend it. Like, in fact, we phoned the St. Cox at the time and told him and said, you know, if it is, it's a Chinese junk. He was in bother about 25, 30 mile north of the town here. He'd actually come all the way across the Atlantic and through the canal, come into the North Sea, and it was as poor a day. It was westerly northwest wind, southwesterly wind rather. That particular day, but there was an old swell and a northerly swell, and the thing was rolling out like an old bucket, and they were all sick. They couldn't do anything. There was a father and a mother, and I think there was 2 or 3 bairns, and another crew member who couldn't lift his head. So we set off for this Chinese junk, little kind of it was going to get. But right enough, it was a fiberglass boat, a replica about 50 odd feet of a Chinese junk, sails and poop deck and everything on it, and just making something like Swiss family rooms and the type of ship you used to see on the pirates coming in. They couldn't do anything. We washed them to steer a four and win a bit to try and get men aboard. In fact, we got up alongside them to put men aboard. And the first lad got across okay. The second lad jumped, the two boats came together, squashed him between the lifeboat and the junk. And he actually broke two ribs. He was off his work for quite a while. But they put that two men aboard, and to lower the sails, rig up the door up, and we finally took two men. They couldn't lift their head. The crew were just absolutely useless as far as that was concerned. They were ill, and some of them were actually in their beds. And it wasn't until we put them into harbour and tied them up alongside the pier that some of them began to pop their heads up, realising they were into small water and into shelter. And of course they revived there, but they were pretty serra-wawed. So that was one colour. It was either mine we got in the 2nd of January, I think it was, the 1st of January. And the word that we got in was a fishing boat tatty. Began with T as a potato, tatty. And we couldn't understand it, and looking up the books, never seen about tatty. Then local anyway. But it turned out it wasn't a tatty, it was a patty. P-A-T-T-Y. I was just right into the new year. And we told him, and he dropped his anchor out here because there was nobody else to see, and we were called out to take him in. We were called out another time, at New Year time, and I think it was the 1st or the 2nd, have a night of snow. I was in the Coxwain at the time, I was just a crew member at the time, and the old bloke I seen here, the old Roberts I think it was, the sick man coming off of one of the oil rig standby boats, supply boats. And I don't know if it happened, but he'd sliced his arm from his elbow right down to his wrist. Not across the way, but the long way. Just sliced it open. And when we got out to him, the boat was just about half a mile from Pint to Pier. It was a gale of wind, southerly southeast wind, coming out to bay, plenty of wind, but it was small water. And actually we got up alongside him, and they couldn't seem to get rid of him quick enough. They did a big towel or a sheet wrapped around his hand, his arm. He was foreign, I can't remember his nationality at the time, but he was foreign. And I can remember we were only 5 men, I think. So we get a particular night to launch the quick. And there was no pagers that day, as 5 men, right? It was just maroons and a phone. And when we went alongside them, the big ship, they just locked them over the rail and dropped them. And we managed to catch him before he could do it between the two rails, between the two boats. And I can mind that the tool come off, or the sheet of the was come off his arm. And the actual veins and anything could fit just seemed to be hanging there. And the blade was just, it was going away. He was really badly injured, that man. We took a man who was less than what he were doing. It took us weeks to get the blood out of our gear, out of our lifesaver, oilskins and life jackets, and get the boat scrubbed down. We just couldn't get it out. It was a very quick service, but the man was needing medical attention very, very quick. Really horrendous cut. If it had happened, we just didn't care. We didn't care to this day if who he managed to do it, whether it had been self-inflicted or with a crew squabble, if it was, we didn't really care. But that was one of the quickies, just at the mood here. But it was another night of snow, just blind rift of snow. I can't remember, it was just into the 1st or into the 2nd, just about at midnight. Well, back in 1980, I suppose it'd been 1980, 81, something. So, we've had lots of different experiences. We were called at that time to come on ashore at, apparently, off a supply ship again. He'd been off well, he'd been a lot of bother with hemorrhoids. And I think the captain, according to what the boy told us, he had operated on him himself with a knife. And the man was just, well, his male was bleeding to death. And we couldn't get him out here. It was a strong easterly, southeast easterly wind, heavy swell. We couldn't get the man off here. We had to run all the way up the Rosati, get a bit of lee with the direction of the wind and the swell. Get up alongside him and just literally halt the man aboard. He couldn't move. We got him down the aft, and I can mind getting in there with him in the fore cabin, the after cabin, the all solid boat, this boat here, taking him into the after cabin in here, survivor cabin, And I can mind them as the boat was punching, being lifting her head and punching. The man was just in agony, and he finally to stand up. Had a rail, there was of course a roof here inside, and he'd actually had onto that rail to balance himself. He was just in mortal agony. So that was it. You get various calls, you get lots of different calls, but as I said before, it's a satisfying job. It's a job that you come into as a volunteer, and there for a month I said it, but as a volunteer to help the fellow man, and I believe there's no other job that could be like it as regards that, for getting job satisfaction. As you forget that, I would say with this job, we as I said earlier on, we've got a pool of 15 or 16 lads at the moment. A few young lads coming in. Now, obviously, you can't get 16 lads at one time, at any given time. Some of them work out at doing, some of them work night shifts, some of them work day shift. So obviously they're not all together at one time. Now, we sail with 6 men or 7. And not actually to be able to come into the crew, every one of that men should be able to do somebody else's job, or somebody else's job more or less. Obviously the coxswain is a place he's on, and the mechanic more or less is a place he's on, although we've got deputies, we've got a second mechanic, we've got a second coxswain, it takes over for us. But the rest of the crew should be able to, if we require a searchlight, everybody should fit up a searchlight, wire it up, plug it in, switch it on. If we require a door up, we require a pump, irrespective of what we need, first aid, a stretcher, the X-boat or the rubber boat, every one of that crew should be up.